Alright guys, before we get rolling today's video, you know we got to do a little merch plug. We got the brown sugar giveaway going on right now. I'm giving away my 1,000 horsepower 80 ship box 84 Cutlass LS swap 94mm turbo power glide, pulls wheelies, no preps, radial races, does it all. It can be yours sitting in your driveway. All you guys got to do is go down to lsnasty.com. It's the first link in the description below. We have a bunch. A bunch of brand new merchandise up there. We got this badass Black Sheep record setting shirt, which you guys can check out right here. And we got just a bunch of awesome headwear, shirts, socks, boxers, stickers, key tags, posters. We got it all. Every dollar you spend over lsnasty.com gets you entered to win my 1,000 horsepower. 1,000 horsepower. For those of you guys that aren't aware, like, I don't drive around on the street with 1,000 horsepower. I drive around on like 700 because 1,000 is terrifying. That sucker, Holley EFI, so you can crank up the boost as much as you want. You can ride around the street making 1,000 horsepower. You can scare your friends. You can scare your wife. You can take your kids out on a ride. It's got button tuck back seats, 2 Kirky seats. Thing is just, it's bad to the bone. So you guys can go lsnasty.com, first link in the description below, and get entered to win it. You can't win it if you're not entered. So, all right, big day here. Big day at the shop. Big day. Big day. Big day. Big day. Big day. Big day. Big day.
Big day.
Got Matt on the laptop. Holley EFI. Hank. This is a long time coming. David. How hype are you, my guy?
Ready to hear this thing fire up.
Shoo. Hey, you settle down with all that energy there. We don't want to blow the speakers out on these people's laptops or smartphone or devices. We'll keep the energy down a little bit for you. You guys know Hank. This is my street strip build that we've been working on for quite some time. Very excited to get it fired up. We just set fuel pressure, electric pump, so that was easy. We could do it with the car off, filled it with fluids, got oil in there, oil filter, transmission fluid. Changed the starter out because it sounded like hell when we were cranking it over, so we put just a factory starter back on there. Matt, talk to the people. Tell them about it. What do you think?
About to fire this bad boy up, if it will.
Black Sheep Stage 1 engine package.
Power glide.
Lamb cam.
Lamb, ooh.
Thing's gonna sound rowdy. Guys, just for the record, you guys can go to TCAM Performance. You can call them up, speak to John Boy. You can go on their website and you can purchase this like exact engine combo right here. Stick it in your car fired up. Just like that easy. This thing sounds badass. Now, we do have some titanium exhaust on here. This is per tissfab.com. You guys can go over there, use code LSNasty to get a discount. But this bet is like, dude, the sickest exhaust. And I bet it's going to sound even better. Aluminum exhaust sounds better than like just stainless exhaust. But titanium exhaust? Hit him with a sheesh one time. Sheesh. Sheesh. Ava, hit him with the sheesh. Sheesh. There's like nowhere safe to stand because it's like you got to be cautious of backfires when you're cranking these things. They'll shoot flames out the exhaust and flames out the turbos, and if you have the charge pipe on, the flame out of there. So this is like my only safe space. Hold on, I'm not ready yet. All right, hold on, David. You got to hold this. I'm the leak checker. All right, what are our hands? So is this cut it off? Can I what if it needs some? It's definitely gonna need some throttle blade. that's the starter. And the issue is, I put this motor in a while ago, and I don't remember what sensors I put in everything. So Matt's like, what sensors I got there? And I'm like, that one. Does it actually, though? Huh? I've been avoiding this question.
Yeah, sure.
It's got a gray sensor. Does it have a right sensor? It's a 24 tooth harness. I think it's set up 58 tooth. Yeah, I believe the motor's 58. See, this is what I was avoiding by just cost me a starter. You have it set up as 24 tooth? Y'all like to make my life really hard. What motor's in it?
It's got a motor in it.
Hold on. It got a switch on the cover, does it? No, it's in the back. Is that some custom configuration shit now? See, this is why it's important to have a good tuner, because I keep Matt's tuning skills honed.
Oh yeah, he's just testing.
I don't ever let him get comfortable. How big of a pain in the ass am I, Matt? Tell the people. I'm like the Homelander of builds.
I'm like, hey, watch for leaks, and John's just like, yeah.
It's not leaking. I didn't hear any leaks. Bro, listen. For someone to drive around the street, that thing sounds quite healthy.
That thing sounds good.
Yeah, we need to bring the throttle blade up to 5%.
Like right now?
No,
Like adjust it.
Hey, that thing sounds good though.
Hey, I'll tell you
Oh,
what.
there he is.
Joey Salsa, them cheeks be shaking here in a minute. God dang, that thing is first startup. We're already locked in on a race, haven't even made it off the lift, but I feel good about it. Holy shit, who tightened this?
Let's try the other one.
right metric.
Is that the numbers or the fractions?
They're both numbered, but hold on a second. Keep going. Keep going. Alright, oh, too much. Right there.
Don't get you that friend that when he adjusts shit, he just turns it like that. Get you one that cranks on that shit. Little TPS auto set. Dude, I'm so excited right now. All right, I might look for leaks.
All right, ready?
Yeah. Hey, I built this. I built this. Hey, look at the steering shaking in that cam, bro. That cam has to shake it. Look at that. Look at that shit. hat on right, first of all, when we're starting the car up. Thank you. Bro.
Oh, man.
All I'm saying, ain't no mod motor. Ain't no mod motor. That thing sounds healthy.
It does.
Yeah, good for the first startup. No leaks. Seems to idle okay.
Dude, street car wise, this is what a lot of people don't understand. All right.
He even ran this.
Okay. I ran that. The lamb cam and the black sheep cam, they don't sound like that. Turbo LSs have notorious sound like they sound like a damn dump truck. Everyone's just like, oh, it's turbo LS, and I mean, some of them sound like shit. This thing sounds like a damn race car. It's over there chopping and beating the ground. Like, you pull into damn Zaxby's, like...
Oh, you just sold me on a lamb cam just like that in the first 30 seconds.
Dude, for real. Like, the black sheep cam is even more ridiculous than this, but like...
I have the idle ignition correction on too, so PIDI loop. So I mean, you can make this thing sound.
Can we do that real quick?
Really rowdy. Let's bleed the cooling system. Actually, put water in it.
I don't care about that. Let's burn this sucker down. I just want to hear it sound good. Camming. See, my excitement. Don't need a push bar with this thing. You got me. Dude, Joey Salsa.
Who just blew a 1/4 inch hole in the fender?
Joey Salsa is in trouble. He's out there. He's like 6 years old trying to talk smack on Facebook. And let me tell you what. He ain't got no hair on his chin, so he can't talk to me like that. So I ain't worried about it. I got more hair on my neck than he does on his whole face. Tell him, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, we're already starting to get a little bit of...
Hey, everyone, Matt, this is your time here to talk to the people that said you can't run a factory GM water pump with a rear mount radiator. What do you gotta say to him?
I guess tell me it can't be done after we don't do it. Alright. Whenever it's running, did you see if it's circulating through the
through these? I didn't look, but I will next time. I will look if it sounds good. I ain't looking unless it sounds good though.
About to rip a dinger?
Oh, no dingers yet.
Oh man.
We're just trying to get it figured out. So we kind of I guess we're shaking it down, all of the bugs and getting everything all worked out. Idle's great, runs great. Slight issue with the starter possibly. Here, rotate it. Slight issue with the starter possibly. We put different starter on there, but it's still a little like.
We need to shim it this way.
It's like "Arr!" when you try to. What's it sound like when you try? So we pulled outside. It's got a massive cooling system on there because of the rear mount radiator. So dash 16 lines running all the way up, rear mount. We tried to do it with the factory style thermostat, but it just wants to, it's easier for it to circulate around in the engine.
Yeah, so LS is the water pump's it's got a circulation circuit. So like it's not like typical water pumps where it's just pumping water. It can also, when the thermostat's closed, it can choose to circulate through the engine through the rear part of the water pump. Well, with the rear mounted radiator set up, like look at this guy.
I didn't know you're filming, dog.
Well, about your pace of employment. I know you're working.
Yeah, no, we're just me and him.
We're just talking to David like this.
I just like holding the squirrel.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's easier for it to circulate coolant through the rear of the radiator, even when the thermostat's open a little bit. So what we did was we blocked off the rear portion of the water pump, so it's forced to circulate through the cooling system now instead of circulating through the engine.
Not the ideal method of blocking it off, but it is blocked off. So this is like a MacGyver setup. But here we'll get it cranked up. Hopefully, if the battery is good, fire her off. Fill her with some water.
All right, we're doing some.
Hold on, wait.
Whoa.
We gotta watch this first.
Something else going on? What we got going on down there? Oh, Mason and his turgin. Trying to crank it with some brake clean because it needs a fuel pump. Oh yeah. Oh, the rings are gonna be wore. Oh, what if we get him run over on camera? Hold on. Hey, just right under the hood.
Yeah, sit on the hood.
There we go. Oh yeah.
One backfire away from a fireball. Put it in gear, David. Come on.
Oh my god. Mason's a horrible carburetor. Bam.
Look at that.
All right, so we've been over here doing some stuff on Hank. Got our water pump, figured the freeze plug in it. So I've done quite a bit of these setups on Jeeps and Ultra 4 cars and stuff like that. Rear mount radiators with factory water pumps. They work great. The factory water pump flows a lot. It's reliable. You don't have to worry about having a killer alternator, run electric pumps and electric water pump, fuel pump, and all sorts of shit. So try to keep it simple, reliable. You know, it's gonna be a drag and drive. You know, drive it to Darlington, wherever, go cruise. We don't want any issues.
God, can you imagine how badass this thing sounds driving this all the way down to Darlington? That's, that's like a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah, do that, make a rip, come back. So far we've done good. The alternator is not wired up. We don't have the plug for that, and I need to do some more stuff on that. So right now we're doing a little bit of supplemental charging. Got the battery charger on there, just put some more fuel in there, and just kind of going through the HOLLEY, getting everything refined and tuned. Right now I'm going to go through and kind of give it a torture test, and I'm going to turn the electric fans off and let this thing see how hot it gets. Probably let it get to like, I don't know, 210, 215, and then turn the electric fans back on and see if it can.
I had a spill here. Don't.
Oh man.
Get some rags. I spilled some fuel.
Oh my god, John.
Listen, the tip got away from me, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
This is a daily occurrence.
Were you watching when you were recording or you recording?
Guys,
His ADD is he's probably on his phone.
No,
you were
and
talking?
I picked my head up and no, it was leaking fuel here, and I got distracted by the fuel leaking here a minute.
all right, so we're going to be doing kind of a torture test. We've bled some air out of it. Rear mount radiators are extremely hard to bleed the air out. The way I had the surge tank set up, so it bleeds air off of here. We're going to probably end up putting a restrictor in this to flow the coolant flow down, because you don't need a whole lot of coolant flow out of here. You just need a little bit of to bleed the air. And then also our steam vent is bleeding into our surge tank, and then it's sucking into the low suction side, so it'll suck right back in the motor. This setup so far has been good. It's bled out fairly quickly. You know, it only takes about 5 minutes to bleed it. We don't have any kind of vents or any kind of shit in the rear, and we ain't having to fill and vacuum and do all that. Some can be very difficult to bleed. This style setup, I've used it and kind of retrofitted some other designs I've had onto this one, like I said, on the Jeep stuff. So right now it's working good. We're gonna crank it back up, let it run, let it get hot, turn the fans back on. The fans are not, this thing don't have no crazy cooling system. Just a stock SN95 radiator with some small Mishimoto fans. It's not like some badass, you know, 3000 CFM fans. So I'm just kind of curious to make sure that this thing can get hot and then cool back off. So far, what do you think temperature is today? 90?
It's a hot, yeah, 90.
Yeah, 90. So it's been idling. We let it idle for about 20 minutes and it never.
But honestly, out of all of the cars that I've ever had that are street cars, I don't ever let them just sit and idle. Obviously, it doesn't have a hood on it and shit, but still, that's pretty impressive to get them to cool that good. I burnt the shit on my arm.
Yep.
If you put yellow mustard on it, it takes the burn away.
Yep. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get my laptop fired up, and we'll make sure we ain't got to put any more fluid in the surge tank, and then
we gotta use the damn. So we got an input-output module on this, so we used a bunch of those inputs already on stuff, so we don't have a trans brake, or else you'd be able to drive it. But we need to we shouldn't really drive it. I need to put 28s on it. I need to cut the spring and get the ride height right.
Bleed the brakes, all the good
Yeah.
stuff. So, all right, well, I'm gonna pass the camera off to John. We're gonna fire this up and get the laptop going, and then we'll do our little torture test here.
The torture test.
These motors, like, you gotta think, some of the factory motors, they run that hot from the factory, you know, 215, 220. I think some of the earlier Corvettes were like 225. They were like way up there. So letting it get at 215, I'm not really worried about it. Right now our coolant temperature is 179, so we'll see how long it takes to get there. One thing you have to do, also, this thing is more reactive because of how much fluid it's pumping. So, like, it might get at 215, the fans come on, and then it's going to take it a second to actually cool the fluid down. So we might see all the way up to, you know, 220. If it gets real hot, then I'll go ahead and shut it off.
Why don't you set it at 210 so we got an extra 5-degree buffer? I panicked.
I mean, this thing probably, I mean, how hot did
Hank get? 260, my guy, and I sent it.
Hank? No.
Boomhauer, 260, my guy, and I sent it.
Yeah. So our voltage is a little bit lower than normal too. So with higher voltage, our fans would be moving a little bit more air.
Look at that, Matt just threw a damn tune-up in there. Like, you've thrown a lot of tune-ups in on that exact lift. 3% correction, that's like spot on. Spot on. 187 and 88.
Yeah, we can show them.
Also, you tune on a gasoline scale. Everyone that converts over to 85, right?
Yeah, usually, I mean, you can tune on the 85 scale, but it's easier to tune on the gasoline scale. The only scale I don't use gasoline scale is on methanol.
Use a meth scale.
Just wait it.
There's 200. We're coming up on her.
One thing you might see too, because we don't have a cap over there, so like we're getting close to the boiling point of water, so you get to this point where it's like 190, 200, 205, and then it'll shoot way up when it starts generating steam. Hey, you know where the cap is that came off the radiator? I'm just worried we might get a little bit of geyser effect whenever we have some fluid.
Oh, geyser, shut it off, shut it off. I'm worried that we're gonna get a little bit of a geyser effect. Fans are off, 207. I'd be starting to panic. 206, what is going the wrong way? Is that like the limit? Is that like as hot as it will get?
Well, now we got a cap on it. So before we had no cap, so our cooling system wasn't pressurized. So
all right, I was decently pleased with the performance of our cooling system. Matt said no, more cooling. So we swapped the two little fans. Where are they? Where are they? Oh, shout out to David. The silhouette. Hold on, let's get you on this side. I know he's that tall here. Now you look small. Shout out to David. Sacrificed his fans and radiator, and these are currently his tires, but you'll be getting those back because we're not going to run them. So we went to the big single fan. Matt, talk to him about this guy.
Moves substantially more CFM. So I wanted to see the two smaller Mishimoto fans, like they don't move a ton of air. This one moves a lot of air. It's a small fan, so it's a good fan.
We do not have the proper shrouding on it though, so that could affect its performance.
Yeah, so
currently
it's going to want to pull air, so what we're going to do is we'll probably get some foam and then run like a strip of foam all the way around it and bolt it up. That way it forces it to pull through there. Ideally, the best thing would be to do is to build an aluminum shroud that goes all the way around it and then the fan goes in it, so it has to pull throughout the entire radiator. But if we have any kind of cooling issues, we'll do that. But right now, I mean, it got up to 220. We turned the fans on. It brought it back down to like 198, 199, and just kind of hovered right there. So that's...
Now, will there be any airflow back here when we're driving?
There's not going to be a ton, so the fan might have to stay on all the time, but what we can do is we can build some shrouding under the axle, and it will pull any air from under the car and force something.
You're telling me you don't think there's any airflow?
I mean, there is some airflow, but nothing
to write home about.
Nothing substantial. But just a little bit of tin work back there, and
we know we got to do some tin work.
yeah. I mean, I've actually built some that bolt onto the axle and move with the axle, but it just directs airflow into that area because it can't really get out. So if you seal off the sides on both sides, then if air's back there, it's got to go through the radiator. So that coupled with the fan is probably enough. Before, like, the fans were moving air, but nothing like you could feel it.
This fan is way more badass.
Yeah, we're about to do a test here and see what kind of airflow this thing's pulling.
You gonna just turn just the fan on?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
You see in the shop.
Hey, my guy. Hey, cut the fan off while we're filming. Hey, cut the fan off. We got brown sugar chilling over there. Might take it out to dinner tonight. You guys go to lsnats.com to get entered to win that thing. It's badass. It's badass. Huh? What? Hold on, huh? What'd you say there?
Trying to put the transit before we go to dinner. So
Matt, big firefighter guy, huh? It's pretty nifty nozzle on your hose there. Is that tactical? Do you pay extra for that?
Yeah.
Tactical?
Everybody loves my nozzle.
Did you see me accidentally try to turn it wide open?
This radiator cap has seen better days.
No, but his
I
current
didn't really drive it on the street a whole lot.
his current new edge though.
Alright.
Fired up!
we did before, we let it get up to 215, turned the fan on. Before it came down kind of slow, got to 200 and just wouldn't go below 200. It never got hotter than
Went to like 199.
199, 200. So it was like right there. It wouldn't get above that, but it wouldn't get below that. Like 200 was just the cooling system capacity. So the only thing we did was we changed the fan, and now we're down 189 and it's still dropping. So just changing the fan has increased our cooling system capacity so far by 11 degrees.
Yeah, 188. And that's with no fan shroud. If we put a shroud on there.
Because right now the fan is just pulling directly where the fan is. So if you have a shroud, it pulls out through the whole radiator. So if it had an overheating problem, then we could build a shroud. But right now, so far it seems like just changing the fan has fixed all our, you know, it wasn't really a problem before, but it's always better to have more cooling system than you need than not enough. So like,
there's nothing worse than you're sitting in the drive-thru worried about overheating.
Yep. So now, you know, we got it up to 220, and now we brought it back down. Yeah, we're at 186. So I don't really know how low it would drop. You know, 185. So
that's pretty good.
So right now,
that's pretty good.
What we can do is I can set up some tables, and we can have different cooling fan strategies for if we're trying to get it really cold, if we're trying to maintain it at like 190, you know, 180. So like if we'll be in like a track mode to where the fan just continually runs until it gets it just as cool as possible, or if you're driving around on the street, try to keep the fan cycling on and off